What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Heroclix video. We are here to talk about a new Menace in the metagame. We are going to be talking mostly about Silver Age, but modern as well, because this piece is just running rampant all over the place right now. It's winning all the events. Of course, I'm talking about the Legacy Thanos that came out from the Fantastic Four storyline OP. This figure was pretty good right when it came out. It's just that it took a while for people to really explore and just really see how potent and powerful this piece can be in the game, and it has quickly taken over as like the best piece in the format in terms of the archetype, and just something that if you want to win and kind of win fairly easily, you play this piece. Now, just to go over quickly what it does, because I already went over this, but just a quick refresher. He can just basically do a lot of free things. Okay, he can free move, he can free barrier, free smoke, he can free regen, he can free mind control, and then he has improved targeting the entire map. And of course, he has close combat expert, range combat expert, probability, super senses. He can pick up to 3 of those gems. But on average, he'll be picking 2. He has the cosmic energy team ability, so he does have safeguard, outwit, and willpower. And he can reduce penetrating damage with a whopping 11 clicks of life, with damage reducers all the way through except for the last click. His attack value stays high all the way through. His damage is 3, mostly 3s, and then he drops a 2 at the end, so that's kind of where you can get him. But it's a pretty vanilla dial, but with all these things that he could choose, he gets a lot of value for his 175 point dial cost. 10 range, 2 bolts. Now, a lot of people have been complaining that I've seen. Okay, I've been playing a lot of events, and just seeing around what everybody's talking about. The number one complaint about the metagame right now is Thanos. It's really overwhelmingly Thanos, because whereas before Sky Tyrant maybe was a problem, or maybe even Blackheart, or whatever, Molecule Man, whatever you want to say, at least those things were kind of easier to deal with, in the sense that you can kill them. They're not they're not just hard to fight. Thanos is a whole nother level of engagement, right? And the more and more that the events are being played, that people are preparing for events, you really have to think about how to counter a Thanos team or play the best version of Thanos. And because of that, I think it's causing kind of a rift, a change of balance, kind of like an attitude of this piece. Now, when it first came out, people were lauding this piece because it really captures what a tentpole piece that's 175 points should do and can do, especially for a figure that's supposed to be as powerful as Thanos, right? That character. And I think WizKids did a really good job of trying to convey what they want the figure to do, and also being able to almost solo an entire game, because he is almost 2/3 of your point total. And if you're going to give him equipment, he does get to up to like 185 points. Now, for me personally, I don't see him as a character design as the problem. Okay, now there are some things that are about him that maybe are a little too much, a little too strong, just like how Sky Tyrant, just a little things that make him a little too strong, but at least he's manageable. Thanos is somewhat manageable, but we'll get to why I think this is the big menace, and I think this could be a problem. And the thing is, remember, the problem is not Thanos himself, the dial. Okay, so let's just go over to this next slide here. That there are 4 reasons. I mean, 3 reasons. Let's just go real quick. And the bottom one, and I put an emphasis, not because he is too good. Okay. He can easily be dealt with in the proper situations, right? He can get one turned. There are a plethora of ways to deal with them. It's just the number one reason, and you can see it up there, the very top one. Oppressive indoor maps. Just oppressive maps, but more specifically, oppressive indoor maps. Why? Because there's non-interaction. And when I say oppressive indoor maps, I'm talking about maps that are very hard to traverse because there's a lot of blocking, a lot of maybe elevation changes, whatever, but indoor specifically because you can't just fly over it, okay? And because of the non-interaction, because of the indoor maps encouraging non-interaction when you're playing Thanos, he has a built-in evasion. And when I define evasion as basically running away, okay, which is kind of counterintuitive to what Heroclix is supposed to be. It's supposed to be superhero battles. You're supposed to be, rolling dice against each other. But on an oppressive map with a character like Thanos, evasion is very not only encouraged but easy because he could just phase through walls and stuff. Now, okay, so what am I talking about when I say oppressive maps? Well, let's take a look at one of the worst maps that they've ever printed. Of course, the rock maps are just like a whole different beast because they just have a plethora of really bad indoor maps, okay? From Ancient Tomb, King's Tomb, Data Mine, you name it. But let's look at something that's from WizKids, okay? And you see right here, it is Realm of Death. Now, the Realm of Death has been around in the past. And even when it was around what, 2012 or 2013, it was already a bad thing. It's the only reason why it was somewhat okay for everyone to play on is because they didn't have a piece like Thanos that can just kind of camp on one side and just kind of phase all through the walls and not be attacked. But on a map like this, if you just look at the amount of blocking and big long connected walls all the way around, it's almost like a maze, okay? Now, it wouldn't be so bad if there were more broken lines, especially in the middle part where you see the long horizontal line. That's a big problem. If there was a way to walk through, let's say, in the middle part, then it's okay because then you could just go through the middle instead of having to go all the way to the side and then down and back up and then going in, okay? Now, obviously, if you have improved movement blocking or you have phasing, things like that, it's nothing. But a lot of teams just don't have that, and if you do have that, it's very few and far in between, or you have to specifically play a team that does that because you want to be able to counter the Realm of Death. Well, Thanos just has built-in phasing. On top of that, it's free. So, if you look at the middle part of the map, you can go to the middle part inside and then just kind of phase 5 squares out, and now you have 3 walls in between. And if you don't have phasing yourself on the counterattack, you have to go completely around the map, either all the way to the, up and down to the left side, up and down to the right side. But the point is, it's hard to counterattack and interact with Thanos if he can just punch you and then phase away just 5 or 6 squares away, and then now there's just 3 walls that are in between. Now, of course, you could say, well, they could just, just play things that break, and you can just, maybe play something that maybe you can outwit it with, Secret 6, whatever. But the point is, the map is what's the issue. It's not the figure itself, because like I mentioned earlier, there are ways to deal with Thanos. You just have to attack him. But on a map like Realm of Death, attacking is almost impossible because he could just phase all the way out, phase back in, and then to compound that, his mind control and or regular attacks ignore the map because he has improved targeting, blocking, elevated characters, hindering. Okay, so you combine all that with the map. That is a huge issue. My argument would be, if there were no maps like this, if you take out maps like Realm of Death, Ancient Tomb, stuff like that, there would be less complaints about Thanos, or less of a problem, let's say, because you can at least see him, get to him, and fight him. Now, if he wants to stay and fight or leave, that's up to the player. but at least there isn't going to be 3 walls in between you and you have to go around a circle just to get to him again. You can actually just kind of either go straight line to him or shoot him, right? So on a map like, let's say, Glen Grove or Amok Time, or even our Glass Lake map, you know, there's hindering, there's water, there's some blocking, whatever, but at least it's more or less open and it's outdoors, so that if he does move around, you can still get to him, you can still fight him. And that's the main thing, is you want to have interaction in your games of Heroclix where you're able to at least roll dice to see and you fight them. So that's why I'm saying it's a little bit different than like Sky Tyrant or Blackheart, because Sky Tyrant and Blackheart, you interact with them. They actually have to attack you, they have to get close to you, and they can't just leave. Like Sky Tyrant can move away, but he doesn't ignore walls, and if you're indoor, he has to go around, so he can't really go that far. Also, if Sky Tyrant attacks you, he has to get up close. Thanos doesn't. He could literally stay 10 squares away and just shoot you, and then he can phase further 6 squares away. Okay, so, and you know, obviously other Alpha Strike teams that get up close that are, you know, kind of fast. The point is, you're interacting with them. You're attacking back. They're hitting you. You're hitting them. Thanos, it's kind of a one-way street. He just hits you, or he mind controls you to hit your own guys, and then that's it. So, and like I was saying, an indoor map that's oppressive, you know, meaning there's a lot of blocking. It encourages players like that to kind of stay back, maybe barrier up, turtle, and if they get close, they just kind of move away to evade because they want to get have all the walls in between them. But if there aren't any walls in between, then guess what? They might just stay and fight because they know if they move, they're just gonna get to him anyway. So they might as well stay and fight. But on a map where there are, they'd probably be incentivized to just move away instead of staying and fighting. And again, that goes back to non-interaction. So, all right, well, that's what I got for this episode of the Menace of the Metagame right now, which is Thanos. Let me know what you guys think, if you think it's the figure itself or other factors. You know, I'm on the camp firmly that it's the map, because I played Thanos team. I played against Thanos teams where I went first. I picked the map. He's dead in 3 turns. Dead in 2 turns. So it's not him. It's the map. And the games that I've lost to Thanos, they win the map. I get put on Realm of Death and I lose. So, you know, I guess from my experience, that's what it is. Of course, maybe they could tweak a little bit here and there with his powers, but for me, I'm okay with it because, you know, maybe he's a little bit overpowered. Maybe. Power creep is, of course, the real thing. So I'm still okay with that. For me, it's the map. And if the map is the issue and not the figure, then that's a bigger problem.